welcome back to Real Cast Fishing. Your host, Glenn, with the City of Island Fishing Field Team, COAF Field Team on YouTube. And this round, what have I got for you? Well, we're just talking fishing ramblings, musings of yours truly. Really just giving you an update on some of the things that I've done here recently. And I'm trying out this new feature that comes from YouTube that allows the vertical format to go live. Previously, I was just using the streaming piece here, but it looks like it's working. So let's get started. First little rambling that I'd like to talk about is yours truly has got the Bait Finesse Systems bug. Definitely have the bug. BFS fishing, ultralight bait casting. So far, I've caught 3 trout limits this year, all using that ultralight bait casting style. And well, it started with the Cascade Zephyr, and most recently I got a hold of one of those feather flight kingfishers that allows you to cast with a trout magnet. And while I've been out and about, even been out in the field there fishing, met a couple of BFSers out there, and pretty interesting. And some of the things that I've been doing more recently with that is making my own micro lures, DIY inline spinners. I did try this one micro blade that seems to be, seems to be working well. It weighs about 1.6 grams and whatnot, but the issue that I have, let me take this off. The issue that I've had is, here we go. Well, I went fishing today, and guess what? I went ahead and, I got a little ouch on it, little dent, but let me go grab it real quick here for you. All right, here it is. This is the Kingfisher, Feather Flight Kingfisher. And this is the one I was using today, and actually the other day to limit out so far. And here is the little lure that I was using. It's a little inline, or not inline, but DIY blade right there. Let's see if I can show you a little bit better. Right there. And it's got a little bent here. It's made with some split shot, and it weighs just about 1.6 grams. And so far, I've caught 2 bass with it today, and end up losing one also. But I'm really, really happy with this. This is something that you can make on the fly fairly quickly. Learned it from some other folks posting how to do it on the internet, and I think it's pretty fun. So do stay tuned. I'll get a video out on what I did today with this thing, and hopefully you might get a good idea as to how this baby's working. I did also get these other inline spinners that I picked up from, or parts that I picked up from Jan's Netcraft. Let me grab that real quick. All right, I'm back. Okay, so I grabbed some. Over the years, I've made do-it-yourself inline spinners, and well, finally end up having to get some more parts because I was running low on these inline spinners. Let me take this off. This is the one that uses a Panther Martin style blade right here, and it seems to work fairly well. I get them in size 1 and size 2, and it comes with these shafts and whatnot, and then I use normal pliers, needle nose pliers and whatnot, as well as, excuse me, I'm sweating. I just got back out there fishing, catching something with that blade bait. And I've got this little tackle tool deal that I got several years ago to help me tie it. But I mainly use the twist deck, which I also got on a whim several years ago. And just off and on over the years, I just kind of grab stuff and just accumulate it, don't throw it away, and start putting some stuff together. So I ended up making these do-it-yourself inline spinners, and let me go grab some of those for an example. I got them right here. Bear with me. Here they are, okay? So I was telling you earlier how I was using the Feather Flight Kingfisher Bait Finesse Systems reel to cast these little trout magnets. These are 1 gram. Right there, 1 gram. All right. And had some pretty good stuff. But lately I've been jumping around and making these babies, these do-it-yourself inline spinners right here. And pretty much weighing them, making sure that I'm good to go. See Jessica McMullen, cool. Hi, Jessica. Oh, that I might need to. Yeah, fishing's good. Fishing's fun. All right. And I did post several videos already on some of the trout limits I've taken. Usually either using trout magnets was the first limit I caught this year. Then I switched over to, I was going to try an inline spinner at another place, and they didn't want them. They wanted the power worms. And so I put on a couple of split shot and some power worms on there, and I was able to limit out that one. Yesterday, when I went to the next place that I went to and got the third limit of trout this year, that one I started out with an inline spinner. Unfortunately, they wanted a slow retrieve deep down in the pond. And when I switched over to a copper super duper, hey, I limited out. I think I've got a video on that, showing that. What are your best evidence for trout fishing? I don't know. What do you mean by best evidence? I've got several videos where I show you I'm catching them. So do check out the channel. They're right there. I got some live stream ones as well as some couple of ones that I've posted. Check them out. You'll see them. All right. Also do some fly fishing as well. But lately, at least this year, I'm been having fun with this bait finesse piece. Let's see. Advice. What are your best? Oh, you mean, what are your best advice for trout fishing? It depends on, what style of trout fishing you're talking about? A pond, a river, a lake? Let's see. Rad. Rad. All right. Well, when you let me know, I'll give you what I know. See, the name of our motto of our channel is basically, we're just average Joes, avid fishermen who like to, fish, and bottom line, learn by our trials and errors. And we definitely have some trials and errors. River fishing. Okay. River fishing, depending on where you're at, I can tell you how I've done, the various rivers that I've fished, in our area here in North Texas, normally up in Oklahoma, the Blue River, Lower Illinois River, as well as Lower Mountain Fork. And then at, Possum Kingdom at Grayford, where they stock trout there. I've done well there as well when they stock. And then additionally, the Guadalupe down in New Braunfels. I fished there river fishing wise. And most cases, if I'm fly fishing, one of the key things that I picked up from, it's an old fly fishing guide who used to guide both Oklahoma and Texas, was before you start fishing, put on your polarized glasses and start walking the bank, and do check out the water and look for any activity. If you do see some activity of some trout and whatnot, start fishing there. And I've been using that advice for many years. And then at that point, when you are fishing, let's say fly fishing, it's really the presentation of getting your fly in front of the trout. And if you are up or below it, a lot of times you're going to miss it. If it shoots right by or doesn't have the right drift, that'll also mess you up. But as a rule of thumb, if I'm starting to just prospect an area, first thing I'll do is talk with the locals and see if they have any good advice, as well as look online, see if there's some additional tips that someone may say is a good fly to use or good lure to use. And then additionally, I usually have some fallbacks, olive woolly bugger, the olive near deer. Those have usually done well for me for trout. And then some tandem rigs as well. From a traditional fishing standpoint, I'll typically go with this Bait Finesse. It used to be where I was just using ultralight spinning gear, and then I got the Bait Finesse bug, but basically I'm using those same lures. Inline spinners, typically the rooster tail, super dupers, cast masters, the small ones, and then rooster tails. Yeah, rooster tails. And then I do keep some Meps as well, and really just have a variety of color. And then depending on how they're doing that day, I'm either adjusting from a color standpoint, or it could be the retrieve. Like just the other day when I went fishing for trout just down the road from me, or actually yesterday, they were wanting a slow retrieve and letting the super duper, in this case, fall down to a deeper part of, I guess, the pond. So like a 5-6 count. The year before it was taking a 10 count, and it was a slow retrieve. There should be a video on that one coming out in, I think, maybe 2-3 days. I've got it scheduled, but do check that one out. That's going to be the one where I'm fishing Murphy City Complex Pond, just up the road from me, or down the road from me. Also, there's a live stream where I'm on site, talking with another individual, another BFSer, Bait Finesse style fishing, and we're just talking fishing as well as catching a few trout as well. So hopefully that helps. Let's see. Max Reyes, I checked out the Blue River in Oklahoma because of you. Thanks for your videos, man. All right. Thanks, Max. Yeah. I like the Blue. I found out about that several years ago, more than several years ago, and I had some good advice from some of the folks that were there, and have met some friendly folks over the years. And bottom line, Blue River is a beautiful place to go. And if you're over here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it's about an hour, 45 minutes away. So it's definitely within a day trip, if not a long weekend, kind of hang out there as well. Do have to remember that there are some special regs for Oklahoma compared to here in Texas. 3 trout limit. You can't share a stringer. You have to have a tag that has your customer ID from your driver or from your fishing license, as well as your name on the tag, and you can't share tags, or you can't share stringers. Okay. So far that's the fishing ramblings I've had. Bait finesse, fly fishing and whatnot. Definitely open to others. Normally what I'll do is about once a week, I host the podcast where we're talking about the fly fishing little red book of fly fishing, where I just go through 5 tips and talk about them, discuss them, and then we go from there. The other thing I do is one of these fishing ramblings, and this is a new format. Normally I just go through the normal live stream, horizontal 16:9 format, but this came out, I think, just a few weeks ago, live streaming in the vertical format on the fly. So right now I've just connected, I've had a set of headphones on, but they seem to be kind of in the way. And then I'm feeding into a microphone, and I've got a pod track that's connected to the phone, just so able to get some better audio, as well as I think I'm recording also. Yeah, got to record it for the podcast. Anyhow, for those that are on here, if you have any questions, definitely shout out. I'm monitoring, and this is pretty cool with this feature where I can see if anyone posts anything or has a question. Let's see. Have you ever tried fishing with a bobber before for trout? If so, any tips? Yes, I have. It's the bubble fly rig. I've got several videos on how the different ones that you tie. My favorite one is the adjust the bubble. And the reason why I like the adjust the bubble is I can keep my vest or fly box, and I'm ready to go if it looks like I'm using traditional gear, bait casting, spinning gear and whatnot, and it turns out I need to go to switch to flies, but I don't have my fly rod with me. But I do have my bubble fly, or adjust a bubble. You can take that adjust a bubble, it opens, you can add water to it. Some people suggest putting some oil, meaning like vegetable oil in it instead of water, because it'll evaporate on you supposedly, but I never had a problem with it. And then what's nice is as you slide your line through there, you can adjust the depth by just twisting and untwisting that little middle portion of it. And that's the one that I definitely prefer over the other ones, mainly because you can make that adjustment. Plus, you can make a really quick change out in the field with a bubble. All right. I do see some other folks that'll use these other ones, fairly good size ones, and they're able to cast like mid pond, if not all the way to the other side of the bank. And what I noticed a lot of them do is they'll cast it and just slowly retrieve it in about maybe a 2 to 3 foot distance from the bubble to the fly, sometimes tandem rigged, and they're just slowly dragging it through, and those trout are nipping away at it, and they're doing pretty well. I've seen that over the years, here locally in Allen, as well as back at a couple of the other ponds. Let's see. I had my most luck fishing on the bottom with a weight, leader, and a mosquito hook, and a quarter of a worm. I'm trying to find different ways to catch, once it's getting hotter. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty good, technique. In fact, I kind of use it a lot, when I'm fishing, power bait and whatnot. Carolina rig, what was it over there at McKinney Town Lake? I was basically fishing the same setup, 2 split shot and about a foot of leader behind it. And then I attached the power worm. And in the case of the power worm, it floats up. So waits here, it's floating up here, and you can drag it slowly through and not be as concerned of getting tangled with the bottom, and seems to do well. Other ways to catch once it gets hotter. So several things happen this time of year. Okay, we're shifting over from fly fishing and trout fishing in general because of the cold months, and it's the trout stocking season. But as things wind down come March time frame, we'll shift over to the local ponds and whatnot. Usually we mark the end of trout fishing season with the TRWD Fly Fest. That's the Tarrant Regional Water District Fly Fest that they host on the banks of the Trinity over there by the Acme headquarters in Fort Worth, Texas, where they do host a really nice event. It's free. And you do have the opportunity to catch a fish as well as see some folks catch some nice size trout as part of their big trout contest. And that's where I kind of mark off, okay, we're done trout fishing, colder weather, colder water species, and now we'll shift over to pond fishing. It's still kind of weird where you may hit a pond. I do want to go out to the lake, but it's still kind of chilly. I don't want to take the kayak out and get wet and be cold and wet and whatnot. So I'll tend to fish the ponds, local ponds. And the good thing about it is in our particular area, that's when the bass spawn. You start seeing them on beds. And this is that time of year where you have that great opportunity to try getting some of these bass on beds and getting really frustrated sometimes catching them. Other times, just catching them left and right. In fact, I was out there today, caught 2, lost 1, using this ultralight bait casting gear. But normally, come the spawn, I'll switch over to, pond fishing, fishing bass, fishing for bluegill and whatnot. And then as things warm up a little bit more, then I'll shift over to the local lake, typically Lake Lavon, just up the road from me. And I'll shift over to kayak fishing. In the case of kayak fishing, what I like about there is, one, I can choose to do some trolling, kayak trolling, and maybe hit some white bass as well as yellow bass, bottom bouncing some slab and jig rigs. Or other times I could just set out these jug lines. I mean, the jug lines are fun. And just last year I came up with these self-setting jug lines that seem to kind of up my game when it comes to jug lining, with the kayak. Because, it's a really tight space in a kayak, and I only bring about 6 jugs with me. And, a lot of times before I started using these self-setting, setup, I'd spend more time doing that initial deployment of the jugs. But once I've got them deployed, then I'm good to go. I can swap out baits and whatnot and then pick them back up and go. Well, because I started with these self-setting jug lines, now I can pre-bait them. And as I go out, drop a set of 3, keep going, drop a set of 3, come back around, and I'm already fishing at that point. Let me think. Other thing is I got a John boat. We'll take the John boat out, anchor it, and just do some of the lazy man fishing where we just get some shad over there from the boat ramp, put on some bait, and kind of spend the rest of the day kind of just hanging out on anchor, catching catfish. All right. And then, of course, there's crappie. Crappie will start picking up, and the bass, but I don't really eat bass. White bass, I like catching them, but I kind of wait to really eat them. It's the crappie. If I catch crappie, then I'll keep those. Those are very tasty. All right. Let's see. Anyone have any other questions or whatnot? It's about 20 minutes into this, and I don't know how long y'all have. I've got maybe about another 10 minutes or so. Just wanted to kick off the Real Cast Fishing podcast ramblings. We've got several episodes already, but this is our first one doing it live on the new format that's offered by YouTube in this vertical format. All right. Let's see. All right. Okay. Well, let me see if I can give you some other, I guess, updates or info, when it comes to, I'd say TRWD Fly Fest, Texas or Tarrant Regional Water District. It's going to be not this weekend, but the weekend after. It's hosted on Saturday. It's a 1-day event. The key thing is after that 1-day event, you can come back the next day and get your good opportunity to catch some good sized bass, or trout, 3-pound. I think I saw some 5-pounder in the past. I've caught a 20-incher there. And then some other folks have caught some bigger ones as well. Just take a look at some of the past, events, TRWD Fly Fest, and some of the trout that they've caught and released as part of the big trout contest. And you'll see, I think there was one year, it was a 27-incher. And the good thing is it's put and take. They won't make it through to the hotter temperatures. So they do want you to come and fish for them and take them. But not on the day of the event though. So, keep that in your back pocket. Okay. All right. Here, let me get the headsets on here. All right. Really appreciate y'all joining today. This format seems to be working good. Hopefully I won't be sweating as much. I'm still kind of hot from today. Today got into the 90s. Can you believe that? And maybe that's explains why I got a fish or two today too. But anyhow, thanks for joining. Appreciate y'all, joining us on the Real Cast Fishing. Your host, Glenn, with the City of Island Fishing Field Team. Till next time, we'll catch you later, and good luck and good fishing. Awesome. I don't know how to turn it off. Oh, this is crazy. Bear with me. The podcast edited, but it doesn't say how to turn it off. Holy cow. That's funny. Okay. All right. Let's just see if I just swipe up. Let's see what that does. Oh, no. I don't know what it's doing. It says I'm live. Okay, here. Okay, I got it. You just got to hit the little X button on the upper left.